Hi everyone, this is Tina, the Thyroid Dietitian, and today we have a very special live. I have the privilege and the honor of speaking here today with Dr. StellaKaouri. She's an endocrinologist and a nutritionist. She has done both residencies in internal medicine as well as endocrinology and has a master's in applied dietetics and nutrition. So welcome, Dr. Stella. Thank you very much for being here with me today.
Tina, it's my pleasure to meet you again. It's very important to talk with you and to speak to people about health issues and to give them advice and in order to make their life better and our lives, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So I thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise and knowledge with us. As you guys know today, we are talking about hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. And from my experience, a lot of people think that Hashimoto's is automatically a problem of the thyroid, or that hypothyroidism is automatically caused by Hashimoto's. But there is a difference. Stella, can you kind of explain to us what the difference and how often we see hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, the prevalence of those two in your
Yes.
experience and practice?
Hypothyroidism is actually a very common endocrine disorder. It is estimated that about 3.7 to 5% of the population suffer from this disease. It is quite common nowadays. In areas with iodine sufficiency, that adequate iodine levels and intake in our nutrition, autoimmune thyroid disease, this is Hashimoto's. It is considered to be the most common reason for hypothyroidism. But worldwide, we have to explain what is iodine sufficiency. Areas with iodine insufficiency is the United States, it is some parts of Europe at this time period, and but worldwide the reason and the cause of hypothyroidism is actually the iodine deficiency. So we have to discrete these two situations, and we have to emphasize that today we are talking mostly about Hashimoto's. We meet this situation in areas with iodine sufficiency.
Right, so to kind of put you guys in the loop that don't know, iodine is very important in the formation of thyroid hormones, correct?
Yes, actually it's the gas. Talking simple language for thyroid, in order to produce thyroid hormones. If thyroid is depleted from iodine, it cannot function well, and if excess of iodine comes into thyroid, actually thyroid is destroyed. And this is very, very strange, because say, oh, it is useful, but then what happens? Iodine destroys thyroid. Yes, excess of iodine destroys the thyroid, and we must avoid excess of iodine.
Mm-hmm. And just to put from a nutrition perspective, when we're looking at iodine, for example, you see iodine excess in places like the Hold on a second, guys. We had some issues there. All right, we're back. We were just talking about iodine and saying that it's very common in processed foods because why? Iodine is repleted back into salt, and salt is put in all these processed foods. So again, just changing to a more whole food diet from very simple foods that you get from the earth instead of buying stuff from a box can really help your autoimmune disease. So it doesn't necessarily mean not to eat fish, but if you're eating fish and seafood, for example, not to eat stuff from boxes. So just to put it out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to be a little bit careful, even if we take some food supplements or vitamins, and we do suffer by Hashimoto's, we have to check on the box for the levels of iodine. You have to be careful. Moreover, people that suffer from Hashimoto's must avoid iodine solutions. The most antiseptic solutions like salts or mouth gargles or for the wounds solutions contain a lot of iodine.
Right.
This is very, very bad for our thyroid.
Right. How much would you say is the ideal amount that we should be getting per day?
It is actually 150 micrograms per day, but like as you said before, a lot of boxed food contains a secret salt and secret iodine that we are not aware of. So you have to be very careful when if we consume a lot of this food, then we for sure we will have exceeded the normal and the commanded daily allowance of iodine intake.
I see. Okay, yeah, definitely. That's a very good point. Another important thing to kind of ask is Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism more common in men or women?
Actually, I think everybody knows this answer. It's women, and I know that usually 80% of our patients that suffer by Hashimoto are women. We still not know the exact reason for this great difference between the two sexes, but actually there are some maybe explanation throughout the female hormones, which is the estrogen, and maybe it's related to this.
So would you say that women that have issues with like estrogen imbalances, like too much or too little, it may affect the thyroid?
Yes, they may affect, especially, for example, in pregnancy. We have a lot of cases that the thyroid is not functional and does not function well, and usually in areas that will have iodine deficiency, it's very, very important that the pregnant woman gets adequate amount of iodine. It's very important for the baby. Moreover, in pregnancy, the amount of iodine, the daily amount of iodine is increased, and it is about 200 micrograms, not 150, as we said before.
Okay, so your needs increase with the iodine when you're pregnant.
Yes.
Good to know again, guys. So if you're planning on getting pregnant and you have hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, it's good to know this stuff so that you're prepared, so that you're in a good setting for getting pregnant. I think where I want to go with this is it's very important to kind of look at one thing that I kind of went through is that I would have normal blood tests and normal lab work. And when I had normal blood tests and normal lab work, I still had a lot of the symptoms, even though I was on thyroxine. So can you talk about a little bit about that and your experience with that as a doctor, and also what lab work is important to do? And
actually, it's very familiar to me that the patient comes and I check on the blood test and I go through this and everything looks fine. Oh, I see everything is fine, but actually everything is not fine. It's just bad, and the patient says, "Okay, doctor, okay, my lab tests are okay, but I don't feel well." The usual complaints and symptoms are actually the symptoms of hypothyroidism. We see that the blood test, the TSH, the 354 is good, is within normal limits, within normal range, and the patient has a feel tired. I feel that the sensation cold is very intense in winter. Loss of memory, fatigue. They cannot, in the morning, they cannot get up. They have some kind of palpitations. They get on weight, or they may lose weight. They are a little bit strange, actually.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that the title of my book, why I wrote it, Tired of Feeling Tired, is that that's how I was feeling. I was tired of feeling tired all the time.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
I think that from my experience, a lot of patients with Hashimoto's feel the same, and actually one of the reasons of this live conversation is to help some people to improve the quality of their lives. It's very important to search for this, and we can actually achieve this. It's not so hard to do and not so difficult. If we search for this and we try to find a special help from a specialist, we can actually improve the way that we deal with our disease.
Yeah, and this is why, guys, I like Dr. Stella so much, because she takes an integrative approach. She's looking at everything. She's not just looking at your medication or your lab work. She's looking at you as a human being. And this is very important to look for in a doctor, okay? So if someone's just looking at your lab work, you're fine, and you're screaming at them, I'm not fine, that should be a red flag to look for another doctor. And I think that, you know, one of the most important things that helped me a lot, and obviously why I wrote my book, is when you're looking at Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, is the nutrition part. Do you as a doctor advocate nutrition as being part of someone's therapy that has Hashimoto's?
Yes, of course. Actually, if we go back and we see the origin of Hashimoto's, and we look how it is, how this happens in our body, we see that a lot of nutritional factors affect the appearance of the disease. They have influence in the appearance. One of these is, of course, the exercise diet. We discussed about this earlier. The other nutritional factor that affects the appearance of Hashimoto's and leads to the destruction of thyroid cell, because actually Hashimoto, what is it? Some autoantibodies towards our thyroid destroy the gland. It's like shooting. They shoot our thyroid. Our body shoots our thyroid and tries to destroy it. And eventually and progressively, this leads to not a proper function of thyroid. So the selenium deficiency, which is another element in our body, may lead to this malfunction of thyroid as well. We have to also comment on the way that we diagnose Hashimoto's. It is very common that a lot of people go to the lab and say, okay, check my thyroid. It's very common, especially in Cyprus. I don't know what happens in other countries. And we check on the labs, and actually they ask for this test because they do not feel well. They feel that something is wrong, but they feel tired. They feel that they get weight on, and they do the thyroid hormone test, and everything is fine. Okay, and then you say, how? And they say, okay, they go to maybe not an endocrinologist, and they say, okay, you don't have thyroid problem. This is not true. You have to be very, very careful. If a patient has symptoms and we suspect thyroid disease, you have to proceed to more tests. And the further test in our blood is to measure the antibodies towards thyroid, which is two tests we can very easily order to measure in our blood. But the other very, very, very important is to do an ultrasound. The ultrasound of thyroid is very important and very helpful in setting up the diagnosis of Hashimoto's disease. there is an image, a very specific image in the thyroid. When we look at the pictures, then we are sure that this is definitely Hashimoto's.
Right.
And sometimes, even with the ultrasound, we check on this, we see the image, and without even measuring the antibodies, we know that, yes, this is Hashimoto's.
So you can tell someone has Hashimoto's just from the way the thyroid looks on the ultrasound?
Yes, but we have to cross-check the image result with the antibodies, because there are some rare cases that some situation may mimic thyroid, Hashimoto's disease.
Okay. See, again, very good to know. A lot of patients just go and do the lab work, and I think that's it. But you have to, like Dr. Stella said, look at the thyroid through the ultrasound to get a better clinical picture of what's happening. Could you explain for us? I know there's a lot of debate about the lab test called TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone.
Yes.
A lot of people say a normal range is under 4.5, let's say, but that's not the case from what you were telling me before.
Yes, actually, it's not the case. Let's say first, what is TSH? Because people think, okay, check my TSH, and they think that it is a thyroid hormone. Actually, it's not a thyroid hormone. It is a pituitary hormone. Pituitary is a gland inside our brain that controls all the hormones in our body. So, TSH is produced by pituitary, and it is the hormone that orders thyroid to produce its hormone, which is thyroxine. So, if we have a situation like Hashimoto is, what happens? As we said before, thyroid is destroyed eventually. So, when TSH is produced and goes to thyroid and tells, okay, walk now, you have to walk. And when thyroid gets lazy because it gets the shooting and it is progressively destroyed, TSH actually must work. So it is increased, and it tries to stimulate thyroid to produce thyroxine. That's why when we first diagnose Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism generally, TSH is high. There are some rare cases when we have secondary hypothyroidism, which is the pituitary gland has problem, that TSH low, and we do have thyroid. But this is very, very rare. So, considering the normal ranges of TSH, as you ask, the reference range of the lab writes for its 0.3 up to 4.5, but actually it is not quite true. From my clinical experience, when the patient has 4.5 and has symptoms, and we also have guidelines about this, about subclinical hypothyroidism, when TSH range value is going up more than the upper normal level, and the patient has symptoms, I usually give them thyroxine if the antibodies are positive. I mean, we have a background destruction, and the thyroid is destroyed. So we have to be to support thyroid, to let him get some rest, and to help from an outside source and give some thyroxine. This is not only my opinion. We have some guidelines. We have to explain that throughout the modern medicine, we follow some clinical guidelines, and through these clinical guidelines, we proceed with the management of the patients. So it is not just, okay, take some thyroxine. We have all this spherical approach, and we see that, okay, you have symptoms, yes. What is the TSH? It is 5. Okay, we can try to give thyroxine if our patient has symptoms, it's very important. But as we discussed already, thyroxine is not the only thing that helps in thyroid function.
Yeah, you were showing me a very interesting study, the Colorado prevalence study, showing how autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's can be made better by nutrition, right? So if you can talk about that study a bit.
Yes, actually, Colorado study was the first study that showed that even if our patient has normal ranges of TSH and free thyroxine, which we usually measure throughout the lab test, people and patients that do not feel well, they feel unhealthy and they do have hypothyroidism symptoms. 60% of the patients, they have more than one hypothyroid symptom. What are the symptoms? As I told before,
we talked about those, yeah.
And so when we deal with this, we have to correct the fact. There is also a recent review in the thyroid, which is one of the most renowned medical journals about thyroid, that was published in the beginning of the April 2017. That is dealing with the nutritional factors that help to help thyroid, help patients with Hashimoto's disease to deal with their disease throughout nutrition. And it was a very nice review because it was the first time that in a very important medical journal, this subject is there was a comment about.
Yeah, that's music to my ears. You know, when you're saying that nutrition doesn't affect, how your disease will be affected. And I think one of the things we're talking about before when we were looking at that review was gluten and dairy.
Exactly.
Well, you had said something about 25% of Hashimoto's patients. Am I getting it right?
Yes. Yes. It was from this review. As we know, review articles, the research team gathers a lot of publications and tries to get into a safe conclusion.
Right.
And from all this research, gluten celiac disease, actually, gluten intolerance was considered to be about 25%, as we told, which is very, very much increased than the 5% we thought it was the previous year. And if we had, if someone has gluten intolerance, he may actually have lower levels of iron, lower levels of vitamin D, and generally very low levels of nutrients, and even selenium, as we discussed before. So if one out of 4 patients has this problem, you realize that it is very, very common.
So guys, when you're asking me, isn't gluten a fad? We're not supposed to eat gluten. Okay, the food industry made it a fad, okay, but science is showing us, these reviews are showing us that it's a very real thing in the population of Hashimoto's patients. So, getting rid of gluten for a while, and also dairy can... Lactose, okay.
Yes, they are related to this.
Yeah, so getting rid of these 2 things in the diet helps the diet to kind of decrease the inflammation in the body, decrease the antibodies, and not to completely get rid of them, but you see that your lifestyle factor, or the way you're feeling, you start to feel better. and more importantly, your intestines start to absorb better, so that if your iron is low, or if you have low selenium or magnesium, from my experience, all these things start to improve, because you're taking away the one thing that's destroying your intestines from working properly. Yeah. Let me just see. That's the one thing I wanted to mention. The study also mentioned about vitamin D.
Yes, exactly. Vitamin D is not a vitamin; it's a hormone.
Okay.
We have to reveal this to people, because we have a K vitamin, and we don't pay attention. Okay, it's just a vitamin. No, it is not just a vitamin. It is a sun vitamin. Everybody needs sun to be exposed to sun, but in recent years there is increased percentage of skin cancer, so we have to be careful when we are exposed to sun. So after this, all this, take care, do not be exposed to sun and all this, you have a situation that a lot of people, even inside
lots of sun,
yes, and it is very, very shiny, and even more than 300 days per year, it's every day the sun shines almost.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know if you agree.
There's a lot of people in New Jersey going, "I hate you, Tina." We get a lot of sun here, but you wouldn't want to be with us now. It's melting outside. It's like close to 40 degrees centigrade.
Today,
so
yes,
it's very hot.
it's very hot.
Yeah.
They're in air conditions, thankfully.
Yeah.
So about vitamin D. Vitamin D must be adequate in order to control a lot of diseases in our body. It is related with the deficiency of vitamin D is related to a lot of diseases like depression, like osteoporosis, like autoimmune diseases, which is rheumatoid arthritis, and even in people that they survived from cancer. In Lancet Oncology recently, there was a publication that all these people must have supplements with vitamin D. So vitamin D, concerning the thyroid regulation, there is some research that shows that when we have the first observation, that was people that suffers from autoimmune thyroid disease like Hashimoto and Graves actually have lower levels of vitamin D. So the first observation was this, and then the researchers tried to give supplementation of vitamin D and check the levels of autoimmune of the thyroid,
the antibodies.
The antibodies, exactly. And when the supplementation and the levels of vitamin D were reached the normal state, they noticed that the anti-TPO levels, which is the antibody of thyroid, one of the two, were lowered. So it is very important that in Hashimoto's we are checking the levels of vitamin D in our patients, and be sure that it's within the correct range. Yes, it is sufficient in our body.
I was reading somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, this is just a bad question, but that with people that have Hashimoto's, that their vitamin D level should be normal high because of a genetic defect that doesn't allow them to process vitamin D like other people do. Do you know anything about that, or do you know?
Yes, actually, it's, that this is observational studies. There is some conflict this with throughout the research. Some research says that vitamin D deficiency cause autoimmune diseases, but other research does not accept this. So at this time period, we still do not have clear
research, clear direction as to what
clear direction, clear conclusions about the reason and the result of this supplementation.
Okay, all right. I think one final question I have. In addition to medication and nutrition and looking at all these things that we talked about today, what would your recommendation be as a doctor as one of the most important lifestyle factors that someone could do to help with their Hashimoto's disease?
Yes. Hashimoto is actually an inflammation in our thyroid gland. When there is an inflammation in our body, the body is in a state of defense. So a lot of hormones are produced in order to deal with this bad situation. And when we are stressed, this inflammation becomes worse. So, because cortisol is produced when we have inflammation in our body, and this cortisol does not leave our, has very, very bad consequences in our body. So, my advice is to get some exercise. Exercise is very, very important and very useful to lower the stress levels in our body, because throughout the exercise, endorphins, which is the inner opioids in our body, are increased.
The feel happy hormone, guys.
Yes, the feel happy hormone, exactly. So since we have a natural way to feel happy, we can make this happen.
Yeah. I think it's important to mention to find the right kind of exercise, because I know for a lot of Hashimoto's patients that are going through a lot of tiredness and whatever, to find something that they can actually do. Because a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to do CrossFit, and I'm going to,
you have to be a little bit careful about this, of course, and even people that not only with extra weight, but people that do not have extra weight, if they have not been exercised in the past, their muscle mass is very low. So, exactly as you said, if they start CrossFit, they cannot tolerate this, and then they stop the next day. We have to be realistic in our goals and start with some little exercise, then eventually increase the amount of exercise we get in order to feel happy. Because if you go and run 2 kilometers and then you are like this exhausted, then the result will be negative. Endorphins cannot produce. So we have to make exactly a kind of exercise that make us feel okay. Even something little in the beginning, and throughout the time, it is improved. We know that the aerobic capacity of our body is eventually increased throughout the exercise, throughout the continuous effort. Even the champions and even the Olympic athletes, that when they do, they have the preparation for the Olympic Games, and they stop for 1 month, for example, when they return to exercising again, to the preparation, they do less hours of exercise in their preparation. So if we start something today, we have to be careful how we start with the way of we exercise.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we have to make a lifestyle change. And to make a lifestyle change, it's slowly. And that's the same with diet. So if you're somebody that eats, fast food 3 times a day, if I tell you to drink smoothies and eat carrots, it's going to be a shock for the system. So, you need to kind of gradually make the changes so it becomes a bigger lifestyle change than anything else. I just want to check if I had anything else. Let's see if we have see some comments here. Hold on a second. All right. Well, I don't see any questions as of yet, but if you guys do have any questions, please let me know and I'll forward them to the doctor here and she can comment for us. Thank you very much, Dr. Stella, for being with me today. I really appreciate it. And
I hope every success with the book. It is an excellent effort and it is very useful because every day in my office, in my medical office, I see people who are desperate. They feel so much tired and they are tired of feeling tired, like you say in your book. So even if we can add something that can help even one person is very, very useful and very, very much worth it to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And for all you that are asking now, where's my book? Well, by next week I should have it online, and a few weeks from now I should have some printed copies here for all you guys here in Cyprus. So again, thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching. I'm the Thyroid Dietitian, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.